What was supposed to be a quiet midnight workout suddenly turned into one of the most talked about Jungkook sightings online. Witnesses say the BTS star was enjoying a peaceful late-night run when something completely unexpected happened. Fans nearby couldn't believe their eyes as Jungkook appeared to cross paths with someone no one expected to see that night. Within minutes, photos and reactions began spreading across social media, sparking endless theories and speculation. Was it just a coincidence? Or was there a bigger story behind this mysterious encounter? The more fans looked at the details, the more questions they had. And now, everyone is trying to figure out who Jungkook really met during that secret midnight run and why this moment has captured so much attention. Stay tuned, because the full story might surprise you even more than the photos did. The unexpected sighting quickly became one of the hottest topics among fans. What started as a simple late-night workout now carried an air of mystery that nobody could ignore. Images of Jungkook jogging along the riverside spread across social media at an incredible pace, drawing attention not only because of his appearance, but because of what seemed to happen moments later. People who claimed to be nearby began sharing their observations. Some insisted they had noticed a brief interaction that lasted only seconds. Others believed the encounter had been completely accidental. The details were inconsistent, yet that only fueled even more curiosity. Every new post added another layer to the story, creating a puzzle that fans desperately wanted to solve. As discussions intensified, attention shifted to the timeline of the evening. Why had Jungkook chosen that particular route? Why had he been out at that hour? More importantly, who was the person that suddenly became the center of so much speculation? Screenshots, zoomed-in photos, and amateur analyses flooded online communities. Every tiny detail was examined as if it contained a hidden clue. The mystery deepened when several fans pointed out that Jungkook appeared unusually relaxed throughout the entire run. Despite the growing crowd and the increasing attention, he maintained the same calm energy that fans had come to recognize. Yet some observers believed there was a brief moment when his expression changed, a split second that quickly became the subject of countless theories. Within hours, fan communities across different countries were comparing information. Some focused on the location. Others focused on the sequence of events. A few believed there was a much bigger story behind the encounter than anyone realized. The lack of clear answers created the perfect environment for speculation to thrive. What made the situation even more intriguing was the timing. The sighting occurred during a period when public interest surrounding Jungkook had already been exceptionally high. Every appearance, every update, and every unexpected moment seemed to generate headlines. This midnight run was no exception. In fact, it was becoming something much larger than a simple celebrity sighting. As more photos surfaced, fans noticed details that had initially gone unnoticed. A figure appearing in the background of one image. A moment captured from a different angle. A sequence of movements that seemed ordinary at first, but suddenly appeared significant when viewed alongside other photos. None of the evidence provided definitive answers, yet each new discovery seemed to raise even more questions. Online discussions soon divided into different camps. Some believed the encounter was entirely innocent and random. Others suspected there had been a planned meeting. Another group argued that the real story had not yet been revealed and that the most important details were still missing. The uncertainty transformed a brief moment into an ongoing mystery that continued attracting attention from around the world. Meanwhile, the original images continued gaining views at an astonishing rate. Every repost brought new reactions. Every reaction brought new theories. What fascinated many observers was how a simple midnight jog had evolved into one of the most discussed fan topics of the week. It demonstrated how even the smallest, unexpected moment involving Jungkook could capture global attention almost instantly. Yet the biggest question remained unanswered. Who exactly had he met? Despite countless attempts to identify the mysterious figure, no clear consensus emerged. Some claims were quickly dismissed. Others gained temporary momentum before falling apart under closer examination. The truth seemed just out of reach, close enough to keep fans searching but distant enough to remain elusive. Days later, the story showed no signs of disappearing. Interest continued growing as more people discovered the images for the first time. New viewers brought fresh perspectives, uncovering details that earlier discussions had overlooked. Each discovery reignited excitement and pushed the mystery forward once again. And somewhere within the endless speculation, one possibility continued capturing everyone's imagination. What if the most important part of that midnight encounter wasn't who Jungkook met, but why they happened to be there at the exact same moment? That single question transformed an ordinary late-night run into a mystery that fans still couldn't stop talking about, and many believed the most surprising piece of the story had yet to emerge. The deeper people looked, the more they became convinced that the full truth behind Jungkook's secret midnight run was still waiting to be uncovered. The mystery surrounding that night refused to fade. If anything, it only grew stronger with each passing day. What had begun as a brief sighting along a quiet riverside path was now being discussed by thousands of fans across multiple platforms, each trying to uncover the missing piece of the puzzle. The more people examined the available footage, the more unusual the situation appeared. Certain moments seemed ordinary when viewed individually, but when arranged in chronological order, they painted a far more intriguing picture. Fans began noticing how quickly attention shifted after the alleged encounter. It was as if something happened that nobody fully understood at the time. Interest intensified when several observers pointed out a series of details that had largely escaped notice during the initial excitement. The timing of the run, the location chosen, and the unexpected gathering of people in an area that was typically much quieter during those hours all became subjects of investigation. Every element appeared insignificant on its own, yet together they created an atmosphere that felt impossible to ignore. As discussions continued, theories evolved. Some believed the entire event was nothing more than a coincidence that had been amplified by social media. Others argued that coincidence alone could not explain the unusual sequence of events reported by multiple witnesses. The debate quickly became one of the most engaging topics among fans, with new interpretations emerging almost every hour. What made the story particularly fascinating was the absence of definitive answers. Usually, viral moments fade once enough information becomes available. This situation followed the opposite pattern. Every new image, every additional angle, and every fresh account seemed to deepen the mystery rather than resolve it. Soon, attention shifted toward a specific moment captured in several photographs. It lasted only an instant, but many fans considered it the key to understanding everything that happened afterward. The image itself revealed very little, yet its timing seemed unusually important. Online communities spent days analyzing that single frame, convinced it contained clues hidden in plain sight. Meanwhile, the original sighting continued attracting new viewers. People who had initially ignored the story returned to take a second look. Others who had never followed the discussion before suddenly became invested. The mystery had transformed from a simple fan topic into a broader online phenomenon. Speculation reached another level when some observers began comparing this event to previous unexpected public appearances. Patterns were suggested. Connections were proposed. Similarities were highlighted. Whether those comparisons held any truth remained uncertain, but they added another layer to an already complicated narrative. The growing attention produced an unexpected effect. Instead of narrowing the range of possibilities, it expanded them. New theories emerged from every corner of the internet. Some were convincing, others were wildly imaginative. Yet all of them shared one common theme: the belief that there was more to the story than anyone currently knew. As days turned into weeks, the unanswered questions became increasingly difficult to ignore. Why did this particular sighting generate such intense interest compared to countless other public appearances? Why were fans still discussing a brief midnight encounter long after similar stories would have disappeared from public attention? And perhaps most importantly, what detail was everyone missing? The search for answers became almost as compelling as the mystery itself. Fans revisited old photos. They reviewed videos frame by frame. They compared timelines and collected observations from people who claimed to have been nearby. The investigation took on a life of its own. Then another unexpected development occurred. A previously overlooked image began circulating online. Unlike the earlier photos, this one appeared to capture a slightly different perspective of the evening. At first glance, it seemed ordinary. But those who examined it closely noticed something that reignited the entire discussion. The discoveries spread rapidly, drawing thousands of reactions within hours. No one could agree on exactly what the image revealed. Some believed it supported existing theories. Others argued it completely changed the narrative. The disagreement only increased public interest. Suddenly, a story that had started to slow down was once again gaining momentum. With every passing day, anticipation continued building. Fans felt closer than ever to uncovering the truth, yet somehow the answers remained just beyond reach. Each clue led to another question. Each discovery opened another mystery. And somewhere within the growing collection of photos, timelines, and theories, many believed the most important revelation was still hidden. Because if the events of that midnight run were truly as ordinary as they first appeared, one question remained impossible to answer. Why was everyone still searching for the truth long after the night itself had ended? The answer, according to many fans, could change the entire story and perhaps reveal that the most surprising chapter of Jungkook's mysterious midnight run had not happened yet, but was only beginning to unfold. The renewed attention surrounding the mysterious midnight run reached a level that few people had anticipated. What had once been a simple discussion among a small group of fans was now attracting interest from audiences who had never even followed the original story. Every day seemed to bring a new theory, a new observation, or a new detail that pushed the mystery further into the spotlight. The most fascinating part was that nobody could explain why the event continued generating so much attention. Normally, viral moments followed a predictable cycle. They exploded, dominated conversations for a few days, and gradually disappeared. This story refused to follow that pattern. Instead, it evolved. Each new discussion seemed to uncover another layer that nobody had considered before. Observers began focusing on the atmosphere surrounding the night itself. Witness accounts described an unusual calm before everything happened. The area had reportedly been quiet, with only a handful of people present. Then, almost unexpectedly, attention shifted toward a single moment that lasted less than a minute. That brief moment became the foundation of countless theories. Some believed Jungkook's appearance was entirely spontaneous. Others suspected there were circumstances behind the outing that had not yet become public knowledge. While no evidence confirmed either possibility, the uncertainty created endless opportunities for speculation. Meanwhile, online communities became increasingly dedicated to uncovering the truth. Fans constructed timelines based on photographs, public posts, and witness observations. They mapped locations. They compared shadows, lighting conditions, and timestamps. The level of analysis was remarkable. What surprised many people was how every attempt to solve the mystery seemed to create another one. A particular photograph continued attracting attention. It had already been analyzed countless times, yet viewers kept noticing details they had somehow missed before. Some pointed to movement in the background. Others focused on positioning. Several believed there was an important clue hidden within the image that nobody had fully recognized. Hours turned into days. Days turned into weeks. Still, the mystery remained unresolved. As anticipation continued growing, a new wave of speculation emerged. This time, attention wasn't focused solely on who Jungkook may have encountered. Instead, people began questioning what happened after the encounter. This subtle shift completely changed the conversation. Rather than debating identities, fans started examining sequences of events. What happened immediately afterward? What happened minutes later? Why did certain details seem difficult to verify? The more they searched for answers, the more intriguing the story became. The unanswered questions accumulated rapidly. Why had some witnesses remembered specific moments so clearly while others described completely different experiences? Why did certain photographs appear at different times instead of all at once? Why did every new clue seem to raise even more questions? Nobody had a convincing explanation. Then another surprising detail surfaced. A fan who had initially remained silent reportedly shared an observation that had not been widely discussed before. The account quickly spread through online communities, capturing attention because it introduced an entirely different perspective on the events of that night. Suddenly, existing theories faced new challenges. Assumptions that once seemed certain were questioned. Conclusions that appeared logical became uncertain. The mystery grew larger than ever. People who thought they had already solved the puzzle found themselves starting over from the beginning. Discussions became more intense. Analysis became more detailed. Curiosity reached a level few could have predicted when the original images first appeared. Yet through all the speculation, one fact remained unchanged. Nobody could confidently explain what truly happened during those crucial moments. The lack of certainty became the story's greatest strength. Every unanswered question encouraged further investigation. Every missing detail fueled additional curiosity. The mystery seemed almost designed to keep audiences searching for answers. And then something even stranger happened. Several fans noticed a pattern. At first, it seemed insignificant. In fact, most people overlooked it entirely. But once the observation gained attention, it spread quickly. The pattern wasn't obvious. It wasn't dramatic. Yet it appeared often enough to make people wonder whether it was merely coincidence or something more meaningful. The discovery transformed the discussion once again. Now fans weren't just asking who Jungkook met. They weren't even asking what happened afterward. They were asking whether the entire sequence of events had been misunderstood from the very beginning. That possibility changed everything. If the popular assumptions were wrong, then every theory built upon those assumptions could also be wrong. The implications were enormous. Suddenly, the mystery felt deeper than anyone had imagined. As excitement reached another peak, many fans became convinced that a major revelation was approaching. They believed the remaining pieces of the puzzle were finally beginning to align. The clues seemed closer together than ever before. Yet whenever the truth appeared within reach, something unexpected happened. Another question emerged. Another clue appeared. Another detail refused to fit. And so the search continued. What truly occurred during Jungkook's secret midnight run remained hidden behind layers of speculation, curiosity, and unanswered questions. But one thing had become clear to everyone following the story. The mystery was no longer about a single encounter. It was about a chain of events that nobody fully understood. And according to growing numbers of fans, the most shocking revelation had not yet been discovered. Somewhere within the overlooked details, hidden among the countless theories and observations, there was still one missing piece. The piece that could finally explain why a simple midnight run had become one of the most captivating mysteries fans had followed in a very long time. And until that final piece appeared, the story would remain unfinished. The questions would remain unanswered. And the curiosity would only continue to grow.